Christmas, one and all, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while, but I'm back. Saying Merry Christmas might be a little bit of a lie, as I'm actually filming this a few days before. It's Wednesday the 22nd. But I wanted to bring this video out on Christmas, just kind of as a thank you to all the viewers and subscribers and anybody who supported me. I very, very much appreciated it. It really keeps me connected to the motorcycle community, because around here it's not that big of a community. Now, on with the video. So, as you saw at the very start, you saw the fabulous Fatboy getting whisked away to the dealership. Well, it's been a week and it's back. And as you can tell, we've got some new bars. So as promised, I'm going to take you through basically what had to be done to the bike to have those installed. But first, let's have a look at them. So there they are. These are the 16-inch Harley-Davidson Ape Hangers. And as you can see, the kit also comes with some tall risers. So I did a little measuring here. The bars themselves from the top to the bottom are 16, and these risers are about 4 inches. So if you take and you measure from the top of your nacelle to the top of your bars, you're looking at about a 20-inch rise altogether. So if you're ever wondering if bars of that size would be right for you, just take a tape measure and start from the top of that nacelle and measure up. Hold your hand out and you're going to have an idea about where they're going to come to. Now, Harley did give me the old handlebars, the stock ones, back, as I asked for them back, because you never know. I never throw anything out, so thought I'd get them. And as you can see, these ones, you're looking at basically about a 2-inch riser on there. And if you're ever wondering what the bushings actually look like, there you go. I've changed these out before. Not on a newer bike, but they're not as pliable. They feel pretty stiff, so they look pretty good. But let's get a look at what had to be done to that bike to get those bars on. So first and foremost, if you're going to be doing anything with electrical, you basically got to disconnect the battery. That's just plain safety. So your battery, you can take the seat off to start. Your battery is going to be behind here. Disconnect it. You can get it from either in here or from the top. But that's basically your first step. Safety first, kids. So our next step is going to be taking off this gas tank. And of course, by doing that, you're going to need this dash to come off. Pretty easy to unbolt, just here, down there. Once it's off, there is a connector underneath here that you'll have to take off, but it's really not a big deal just to do that. Now underneath the tank, you're going to have your fuel line that has to come off, and there's actually another couple of, there's another line, some wires to your fuel pump, I believe, that will have to come off. If you're going to do that, you can take that line off first, but I would pull out the bolt on the back. Loosen the one on the front. You can keep that one in there for now, but you can actually tilt up the gas tank just so it's above the frame, and then you can get at the other connectors underneath. Once that's done, you can take out that front bolt, and of course you probably want to do this with an empty tank if possible. Now you might be asking why I would take the tank off, or why you would have to. Well, the reason is this. As you can see, those are the wires that come up from under the risers. They come down through there and they come out here and they go right into there. Now those wires go to a block where all the connections are, which is under your tank. So to get at that wiring, you got to take that tank off. Now coming to the top of the bar, you've got your clutch, which can be disconnected. And of course, you have your front brake, which can also be disconnected. You could take the, I believe you can just take the master cylinder and all completely off, just hang it down, cover it up so it doesn't get damaged, but that way you're not spilling a bunch of oil all over the place, at least not yet. Now, once you've got that done, you've got your your controls, but they'll have the connectors for the wiring in them. Now, as these bars, as you can see, are internally wired, they come right out the bottom of the handlebars, you may have to remove each individual wire from its connector, and that was my issue with doing it myself, or one of my main ones. It's very easy to break or damage a small little plastic connector. And from what I understand, one of the main problems that shops see when people do it themselves is they get everything back together and then things like their lights don't work because there's been a damaged connector somewhere in there and the wire isn't sitting in there properly. So that was one of my reasonings for not doing it. I just really didn't want to screw anything up while it was still under warranty. Now, once you've got all your wiring pulled out, everything off the handlebars, you can take them off. Now, obviously, I said this kit comes with the 4-inch risers, the tall risers. So those would come off as well. I don't know if you can quite see it that well, but they're just, they come through. There are bolts underneath with the bushings inside, as you saw earlier, and these will come right off. Now, once you're ready to put on your new bars, you're going to have to thread the wires through them. Now, I'm using the old stock one just to show you how. There's your hole in the bottom, and you'd of course be running them up through there. Now, on these bars, obviously they're a lot smaller, wouldn't be much of a problem, but on taller ape hangers, especially ones that aren't, you know, that doesn't have this nice smooth curve, it might be a bit of a problem, but it can be done. Obviously, you can run a string or wire through here to come out and then pull it back through. Just a bit of a pain in the ass, but you'll need to do that before you install them. So now we've got our wires ran, we've got our bars back on. You can now start connecting them to the controls, hooking those back up, and of course your wiring is going to go and it's going to connect to that block underneath the gas tank. So now, once you've got that all done, you can look at getting the clutch cable back on as well as the front brake. Now, let's look at this clutch cable. Obviously, I went with a newer one. Had to be new, obviously. I did go with braided. I'm not really sure why, but I just did it anyway. So once this is back in, you're going to see the cable comes down and wraps around underneath. It is going to come out on the other side and hook right up there. Now, that means this cover's got to come off. Side cover of the transmission. So you're going to need to drain the oil. I do have a video up on that. The plug, or the dipstick is down underneath there. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Once the oil is out, you can take this off. Now, one problem with certain models, this Fatboy isn't one of them, but as you can see, you've got a fair amount of space in here. On some models, you're going to have your exhaust a lot closer, which means you might be looking at loosening off your exhaust just to be able to get your tools in there to take this off. That's only on some models. Luckily, the fabulous Fatboy does not have that. So once you've got this cover off, you can take the clutch cable off. Now it's hooked up to kind of a lever, kind of a ball and ramp system that it's got. And when you pull the clutch in, it pushes on a rod that goes over into the primary to your clutch, which disengages the clutch. So you're going to have to be careful when you take that apart. There's a few balls there, there's a lever, there's snap rings. Just make sure you know what you're doing when you're doing this. And then of course you'll need a new gasket. Once everything's put back together, fill it back up with oil and you can move on. Now we come to the front brake, and obviously again you'll have a new line. I went with the braided on this one again. This will obviously have to be changed. It comes down and just down to a block that is right underneath. The stock one is black. This is chrome as it's new. I also had the braided line going down the other side. Now this is pretty easy to do, just to change out one line. However, you will need, of course, to bleed the brakes as you've now exposed it to air. And again, not very hard to do. There's all kinds of little tools and gadgets that make it very easy to bleed brakes, but definitely something you're going to have to do. So now you've basically got everything more or less done as far as the bars go. You can put your gas tank back on, and of course you're going to hook the battery back up, and you can sit on it and test to make sure everything's going to work. Now the other thing you can do is once you're sitting on it, you can loosen off the clamp on the riser, and then you can just pull the bars back and forth just to get them to adjust them to where you like, and just make sure you tighten that down. That's just common sense, but I'm not gonna lie, it may have bit me in the ass once before. Okay, so there you have it. Now this was just a general overview of what you'll have to do. This wasn't it's not meant to be a how-to video because obviously I did not get very in-depth in everything that needs to be done. There's definitely different tricks and little tools you can use, but this is how I was advised that it was being done. Now if you are looking at doing it yourself, it is 100% doable. If you want to learn more on it, Hill Country Customs YouTube channel, they have a video on installing apes on a 2018 Softail. Now they have pre-wired handlebar kits that if you're willing to pay the price, they look like they're very good. And you won't have to string the wires through. They come already with the controls and everything internally wired already. But they have a video and they will go more into depth on, for example, changing the clutch cable, bleeding the brakes, taking the gas tank off. That's more of a how-to video. Also, John Maxwell's channel. He is a former Harley tech that I believe has his own bike shop now. And he does a video on putting apes, Carlini apes, on his bike. And I want to say it's a 2020 Heritage, and they are not pre-wired. And he takes you through how he wires them. So that would be another video to watch if you're interested in doing it yourself. But like I say, this is a general overview of if you're going to do it, this is generally what you're looking at having to do. And that's the video. That's it. That's all. We're done. I really, really am itching to take this thing out. But unfortunately, there's snow on the ground. There's ice on the ground. It's about 8 below right now. We're looking at getting some more snow here in the next few days. So probably still looking at a good 2.5 to 3 months before I'll be out there. But I would just love to get out there right now. But anyway, I will leave you guys alone for the rest of your Christmas. Have a good holiday. Have a few drinks. I will recommend my drink of choice over the Christmas season. It is equal parts vodka and cherry whiskey mixed. Put some Coke or some Pepsi in there. It's just like cherry cola, but it will sneak up on you. I guarantee that. But anyway, until then, happy holidays, and I hope to see you all in the new year.